Hello and welcome to People to People. I'm Fred Blankenship. Election day is less than 48 hours away, and Georgia's gubernatorial candidates have crisscrossed the state for months campaigning. Well, this week we have an extended one-on-one as we interview both candidates. And WSB-TV Director of Community and Public Affairs, Candace Presley, sat down with Stacey Abrams and her parents. And here is what she was able to uncover about a young Stacey Abrams.
Thank you, Leader Abrams, for inviting WSB Television into your home. And I see that you have some guests with us today. Would you please introduce?
I am honored to have my mother and my father, Reverend Carolyn Abrams and Reverend Robert Abrams, who currently stay with me in my house, but they actually live in Stone Mountain.
What was this kid like growing up?
She was pretty unusual in comparison with her siblings. She was always just so serious. Loved books. She was reading when she was 4 years old, and just would rather read than go outside and play.
Was that your take, Reverend Abrams, also?
She's always been a fantastic young lady, very astute, very smart, very pretty, and very mine.
When she was growing up, when did you know that as an adult she would do big and important things?
I always believed she could do whatever she set her mind to. But the incident that really proved it for me when she was when she was a child, took place when she was 12 years old. She was a scout, a Girl Scout, and she had been nominated to go to their national camp that was in
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes, Scottsdale, Arizona, and a group of scouts and their leaders were to travel together and fly. And that was Stacey's first time to fly. Well, for some reason, when we got to the airport, everybody had left and then taken another flight and hadn't told us. When she was 12 years old, having never flown in a plane before, she went from Gulfport, Mississippi to Scottsdale, Arizona, caught up with the troop, and they knew she was there.
I believe that my responsibility is, to stand up to bullies, to stand up to pressure, to try things that are scary, and that having obstacles does not mean you don't have a way. You just have to figure out how to get there anyway.
Reverend Abrams, what did you say to your daughter when she told you that she was going to take on this challenge of running for governor of Georgia a second time?
The first thing came to my mind was, why in the world would you even want to do this? But I knew why, because she believed in service. She was raised to serve people, and she's not in it for what she could get out of it, for what she could put in it. She believed that she can help the people of Georgia. She believes she can help the people of Georgia. I know she can.
Reverend Abrams, same thing.
When she ran the first time, I asked her a question, and I asked her the same question when she decided to run a second time. And the question was, have you counted the cost? You understand that this is not going to be easy. I call it climbing up the rough side of the mountain. And she said, Mama, I know what I'm getting into, but somebody's got to do it.
What is it about Stacey Abrams, the woman, Stacey Abrams, the woman of color, and Stacey Abrams, the candidate for governor, that people really need to know? And I want each of you to tackle that.
I am the proudest black man that you would ever see anywhere. I am the most blessed black man you'll see anywhere, because this child is willing to work and make sacrifices and go through stuff I wouldn't take it. I couldn't take. My mentality would not allow me to be that humble, and I'm a minister. But this is the most humble, one of the most humbling human beings I've ever met in my life, and I've learned so much from her. I've had to tone down my rhetoric, tone down my response. I am very proud of it, if you haven't noticed.
Stacey is genuine, and this is what I tell people. This quest for the governorship of Georgia is a mission for her. She has counted the cost, as I mentioned before. But when she says something, she means it. And that's what it's all about.
I've had these remarkable opportunities with my mom and my dad and Faith here with me to remind me of why this matters so much. Politics is hard. And yes, I want this job. And I've tried my best in the intervening 4 years since the last time I tried to do the things I said I would do if I had gotten the job. I've got a father who has gone out and knocked doors every weekend for me, even when he was in pain, because he wanted to get it done. I mean, he tried to put off his chemotherapy so he had time to go and knock doors one more Saturday before. My mother, who has been sick herself, who still wakes up every morning and makes it her mission to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's a flashback. but she takes so seriously this call that I have. But I learned at their knee that you meet people where they are, not where you want them to be, but that you have to live the example of what you want people to believe you can deliver. My parents have been married for 53 years. I've watched my dad take the coat off his back. I've watched my mother hand out food to folks knowing there was nothing in our refrigerator at home. Because for both of them, the responsibility was never to put yourself first. Your job was to show people they could trust you and that they didn't have to listen to what you said, they could look at what you did. And that, for me, is the most important part.
Leader Abrams, Reverend Robert Abrams, Reverend Carolyn Abrams, thank you so much for inviting us into your home.
Thank you for having me.
Abrams says that her parents are armchair consultants for her campaign. Her dad is battling stage 1B stomach cancer, his second bout with the disease, and he says he is doing well.